Hey, Matt.
Hello there.
General Kenobi.
I think that's just going to be the go-to now.
Oh, hello there is just going to be...
Yeah.
All right, whatever. We'll meme it up.
Yeah, memes.
I don't think I'm going to do as many impressions this week, so... We might
See,
be
now
all
you
right.
mentioned it, though, so you're just going to inadvertently do it.
We'll see. I don't think there's too many stories that I really need to do anything too crazy with. What are we doing?
We're doing a podcast
That's a good call.
for the... what number are we at?
What number?
Yeah. Do we keep count?
We're somewhere in the 40s.
Ooh, for the 40th
Week.
Week?
Sometime in August is our year, so...
We're doing a podcast again. Who knows what number? We don't keep track.
It's probably 47.
This is our life now. All right, 47.
It's my safe guess.
Prove us wrong.
That's my safe guess, as long as you don't count the ones like we double up on, like E3 and stuff.
Yeah.
Or Game of the Year.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, the correct answer, I think, to your question was, this is the Gamers 2 podcast.
Yeah, that is the correct answer. That, took us forever to get to.
You can't give it to him right away.
No, you got to tease him with it.
Yeah.
Then rip it out right when you think you're there.
Yeah.
Anyway. What if, seeing how this is by design supposed to be a gaming thing, what have you been up to? I guess by design it's a gaming / nerd culture / whatever Nate is into sport-wise that week. And Matt with Formula One joke session, whatever, fun time. It's whatever we want to talk about. We just focus on games. So what have you been up to?
Nothing, as per usual.
Have you played God of War yet?
I haven't.
Dude.
I need to get on that. I know. It's just the time constraints. I haven't really been doing anything, actually. I'm trying to think of what I've done.
Been playing anything?
Not really.
Hopping into warships or something again?
Every once in a while I'll play an odd game here and there, because usually like your first win of the day you get
is a bonus, and then it's like
so
a 24-hour cooldown. Yeah,
I'll do a win in certain ships and then move on with my life.
See, and you wonder how I did it. You hop in, you do your dailies, you get out, you go to a different game.
Yeah, that's true. It's just that, to get the XP requirements for warships is like I'm never gonna get anywhere doing that. So,
it's not about your destination, Matt.
It's
about the journey.
I could just buy the ships.
I'm your motivational speaker, Joel Osteen, and I'll be gaining $1 million private jet from every one of you listening tonight. Thank you. Oh, boy. Religious scams. Anyway.
That's about
watching anything? Reading anything?
No, I do have a book.
Are you just existing?
I am picking up a book probably tomorrow.
Okay.
And it's called Bruce Lee, A Life.
Is it an autobiography?
Or
no?
What's the difference between autobiography and I can't
written
remember.
by them or by them or
by a person, a third party person who went through and interviewed. And,
biography.
So it's just regular biography.
Yeah. Auto is you doing it.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah.
So that
look at me dropping knowledge I learned in middle school, maybe.
Remembered, I guess.
Yeah, I don't think I learned it because I'm still not positive.
Yeah, so there's just that, and then just the normal assortment of YouTube channels.
Of course.
Car builds, Mighty Car Mods. They're doing a Datsun.
Ooh.
Fair Lady Z. They dropped a Skyline motor in it. So nice.
Ooh ah, ooh ah.
That's about it. Formula One. There was the race, and
When you're done, when I start rambling on, can you just hand me my phone?
Yeah.
Okay. There's a part in the doc I didn't check, so I know. But yes.
What the hell was the last week? Was
what?
I'm trying to think of where they were last week racing. Fuck.
Well, for Formula?
Yeah. It wasn't Austria, was it? Or was that the week before? I can't remember now. I want to say it was Austria, but I'm not sure.
We can go with that. How accurate do you want to sound
No,
about
it
your
wasn't.
sport?
I don't know. It
Wasn't
wasn't
New
Red
Zealand.
Bull. It wasn't the Red Bull ring because I think Max won that one. I don't know. Whatever. But the last race
Netherlands?
was interesting. No.
I don't know. For some reason, I had an N nation stuck in my head, and I went from New Zealand to Netherlands. So, opposite
Yeah.
side of the world.
No, they had Oh, it was Silverstone. It was UK.
That was close. No, it wasn't.
No, it was interesting. It was a good race, and the teams. There's actually competition going on instead of Mercedes steamrolling everyone, which is nice.
Well, I mean, competition is what the capitalist. Never mind. It's what you want.
Yeah, so that's fun. What have you been doing?
Where do you want me to start?
I don't know. Games.
Okay,
probably?
we'll start with games. Games, I think, is the easiest one. So games, I guess I can look this part up later. Games, MLB. We're in the All-Star weekend, All-Star break. It never happens on the weekend. It happens Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. And I guess technically Wednesday, but nobody really counts that. So there's a bunch of new challenges out and stuff like that, and it's a fun time. Can you just not hit yourself with a hammer right now? I do appreciate the question that will come up later from the one and only Yankee legend himself. So a lot of MLB. It's been a fun time, I've been enjoying it. As many problems as there are if you look at the subreddit, but that I think is every subreddit for every game.
Lately, I've questioned the validity of some of the video game things that people complain about, because half the time you get a lot of people that complain about Bethesda games and Ubisoft games, and outside of the only time I've seen those issues in my own gameplay is when we were doing Far Cry co-op, and every once in a while one of us would have some glitches.
Which even then, they weren't game
breaking. So
it was just why is this car flying away and exploding?
Yeah, I'm always what? Why don't I ever see these issues? But I don't know.
Yeah, I come across a couple of them gameplay glitches.
Mm-hmm.
But when people are complaining, one of the greatest things I think I've seen as a glitch in MLB is somebody fouled the ball off, and there's a guy in the on deck circle just swinging away, and the foul ball hits that character in the head, and then goes back into fair play over the outfield wall for a home run.
And that counts.
And it counted. And he's like, I don't understand. He's like, he hits a 300-yard bomb or 300-foot bomb off his head not moving.
Yeah. So just for clarification in that instance, if that were to happen in a real-life game, other than the shock factor.
The sheer shock factor, and I would call that man cheating a robot and steroids.
Yeah. It would be ruled a foul ball.
Yes, because it was dead by...
Yeah.
Well...
Is there an instance where
that would be
happen?
It would be a home run.
Would it really?
As stupid as that sounds, no, it would be a foul ball because that player is not active.
That was going to be my next follow-up question. Say, for instance...
If the player was active, was standing...
ran over for some reason?
It would have to be somebody on the opposing team. It's happened before. Jose Canseco has probably the most famous one, where it goes up for a catch against the outfield wall, it bounces off his head and goes over, and it's a home run.
That's got to be so demoralizing.
Oh yeah, it's one of the stupidest plays. If you're in your history of top 10, it's up there. Him, Manny Ramirez, 50 Cent probably gets on there for his first pitch, but there's just stuff like that where it's so bad. Is it Bill Buckner who's had a ground ball go through his a routine ground ball go through his legs during the World Series and ruins that game? There's stuff like that.
You have your off days every once in a while.
Yeah, and that's just one of the most notable ones. You see him going up and it hits him and goes over and it's a home run. Because he was standing in foul territory and he was not active, it would be deemed a dead ball.
Yeah, okay.
Because if he hit any of his people on the same team that were active in the field, without it touching the ground, he just hit him on the line, they'd be out. If you get hit with a ball like that, you're out. Well, technically, even if you get hit with a grounder, you're out.
I I wonder at some
It's
point
happened to me once.
if developers like see stuff like that and they're just like, it's not worth it to fix it.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it's either that or they're just like, I don't know what caused this. When you just look at it and you're like, never should have happened. Nothing I coded said he has a 100 power rating standing still, not doing anything with his head. So, it's just weird. Sometimes like the physics of like, yes, all the physics were calculated that if it bounced off something, it has a high ricochet, but not a 350-foot ricochet over the center field wall. Like, so I haven't really run into that. Otherwise, other than MLB, it's been a fun time for me. Been playing a lot of WoW. It's a good time sink. We're getting our pre-patch next week.
It's in there. We're going to talk about it.
Perfect. So pre-patch is going to be next week.
I wrote a bunch of stuff that I don't understand that you're going to have to explain. So.
I can't wait. I love it. Truthfully, I might not be able to explain too much because I haven't really looked at pre-patch. I know kind of what's coming. But
I know enough to know that when I give you the rundown of what I wrote, you're going to be like, this is what this means.
Oh, okay. All right. Fair enough. I've finished Mr. Shifty.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck that last 2 levels.
Yeah.
Oh man, I almost
Mr.
didn't.
Shifty, is that the one where you're running through the levels like
Yeah, it's top down and you're not even shooting, you're dashing. That's the shifting is you just dashing around.
Okay.
And like you can grab items to throw at people or you can punch them. Like those are the 2 ways you defeat them. So kind of like
a super hot type thing almost, like as far as
kind of, yeah.
level,
except for like the
interactions.
the dashing and whatever. No shooting though. You can't ever grab a gun. Not that I've remembered doing or seeing. My favorite thing was to grab tridents, spears, and whatever because you could
just leaves those around.
They were in like statues. You could break the statue, and that came out of it. And I would just take a trident and start whip it across the room, and it just 4 people stuck to a wall. I'm like, perfect. You do that. You do that same thing where you're like, kiting. You grab a trident and you're running, and then all of a sudden you turn around and everybody, because the NPCs have to follow a certain path to get to you, is all in a line, and you're like, haha, you idiots! Woo.
A trident would make a very good wall decoration.
Where am I going to put a fucking trident?
Right? I'm glad you asked because I just scanned the room.
Wouldn't it be better if I put that there than the trident there?
I would do that
because
I would want to display the trident. Because
I would put 2 tridents. You'd have to cross them.
Or like a trident and something else that's at equal length that's, as cool. Like a trident and maybe, what's the Shaolin monk thing that they... No, it's not Shaolin monk. You know the thing, this long staff. It's got a blade on one end and like counterweight on the other. It's
blade on one end and a counterweight on the other.
It's got it's a long staff, and one side's like a blunt object. It's mostly a counterweight, I believe, and then the other side of it is like a blade that's like half a circle, basically.
Not a scythe.
No, well, I don't know if that's what it'd be called.
Well, scythe would be like your farming thing with the reaper.
Yeah.
What a reaper has, which is the same.
I know what that is. I just don't know like what.
And I mean, sickle would be up kind of what you're looking at, but. You know what a sickle is because communism. And it's not a morning star you're talking about because...
It's kind of like a...
A morning star is a mace. Karambit? No, that's a dagger. You have
like
got
a halberd almost, like, but not...
Yeah, but halberd's just it's a sword type.
Yeah, but it's like... Let's see if I can. I want to say it's like some sort of Shaolin monk thing. Let's see.
I would have just said a bow staff for those guys. Them and the Ninja Turtles.
I'm trying to remember Shaolin. Okay.
What? How to spell Shaolin? Shaolin. All right.
I got it.
All right.
I got it.
Bro, would you relax?
You
want me to go
I had
on?
a really good call out the other day that I want to bring up. That was not really a call out, but like
reference.
Yeah, Samantha and I were looking at something, not a reference, but Samantha and I were looking at something, just that I like spent too much time on the internet. And it was like a picture of a guy or something. And way in the background, like on his desk, on one of his monitors, he had like a background.
The good old I noticed this situation, yeah.
Background. And she like saw it and she's like, what is that? And I was like, because there's a weird wallpaper.
Right.
And I like looked at her phone. It was grainy, obviously, not a good quality picture, and it was like really small. I'm like, looks like General Mattis. And she's like, what the fuck? Like, who's that? And I Googled the picture, and I showed her a picture of General Mattis. She's like, that looks just like it. And I scrolled down through Google Images. Boom, there was the wallpaper. It was General Mattis, like, in, like, some weird, like, religious, like, thing. Someone photoshopped it.
Oh, okay.
But I was like, oh, that was good. There it is right there. Boom. That type of thingy.
Spade?
I guess.
I mean, that says just spade, but it's not a hoe. So.
Yeah, I guess that would be. I guess it would be a spade, a monk spade.
All right. It looks like a staff, just with different stuff on the end, guys. That's all it is.
That's what I said.
No. I when you said counterweight, I was picturing something dangling off of it, which is what was confusing me.
Yeah, okay.
Because I saw here's what I saw: line, half circle coming off of it, not over the top of it.
Oh, okay.
And then at the end of it, having just a chain and a counterweight, and I was like, I don't fucking know what I'm.
That's a cooler weapon. Throw one of those on the wall.
Well, that looks like a sickle, but like a short. Like to me, it looks just like a really weird elongated sickle that has an anchor weight on it. You're like, what is going on? And no, I'm not gonna put one of my own random dumb weapon creations as I'm sitting here confused on the wall.
Yeah, but if we put some patina on it, people would be like, "What the fuck is that?" And you come up with some
ridiculous. But if I had two titanium tridents, the 360 view I have with this house, just whip them out of windows at people. Come on,
that would be fun.
It's like lawn darts. It's like lawn darts, but
put some watermelons on the lawn and just see who gets closest.
Anyway,
that was a tangent. Damn.
Speaking of weird things, I've been playing Agents of Mayhem.
What do you think of Agents of Mayhem?
It was one of the games I picked up during the Steam sale.
Yeah, that one
was
one
was
of those ones
$7.50.
Kind of took a dump on launch, right?
That didn't
launch well.
I took a dump on it. It took a dump on itself. Everybody else took a dump on it. But I was like, you know what? For $7.50, I had seen Ray Brown Man play some, and I was like, you know what? It doesn't look like it's that bad, but it's obviously not what anybody wanted from the Saints Row guys. So I was like, all right, $7.50. All right, I can justify it.
Hoarder, so,
and I am a compulsive game hoarder, but in this situation, I only bought 4, I believe.
The summer sale.
Yeah, 4 or 5 from the summer sale. I installed all of them. I plan on playing.
What'd you get?
At least all of them, or I mean, some of all of them.
I don't think you bought anything last time.
I bought Agents of Mayhem.
Yeah.
Starwall, which we're gonna play a little bit later.
Okay.
It's the two narwhals fighting each other.
Okay.
It's a
side, I think I know what game you're talking about.
It's a 2D1, and everybody that's in, I think you can play up to 4 people, controls a narwhal, and your idea is to stab a certain, I think there's just a heart floating on part of your body, and you have to swim around and protect yourself while trying to stab the other person and all this other stuff. Tabletop simulator.
Okay. Yeah.
Just because Kenny's raved about it before, like the stuff he's been able to play. He's like, I've played, name a good board game, and rather than spend the $70 for the board game, you maybe have to pay $5 to find somebody's workshop version of it, or that's just free, so you can play a bunch of board games with people online that way, which will save me money, especially if he actually goes out west. Mark of the Ninja for $375, $374 was it's a 2D, it's a side-scrolling stealth game.
Okay.
So very, you see a guard, you see a light, you see a door, throw rock against door, a guard walks over there, you sneak up, you make noise if you run too fast, kill a guard, move on,
Okay.
Reminded me when I was watching it of Gunpoint, one I've talked about before.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like a kind of a puzzle-solving 2D. And I was like, cool. And, I'm in the mood for that.
Yeah.
And then I want to say that's it, but I feel like I'm forgetting something. Into the Breach. That was the other one from the Steam sale that I bought. I have since also bought Out of the Park Baseball 19 to give that a run because I really enjoyed 18, so I'm going to give 19 a shot. But that's just a side. That's a complete side thing. Kenny bought it too. That's kind of why I have it, because he is a baseball guy, but he's not a baseball guy. Like, I am the baseball guy of the two. But he's a Mets fan. I'm a Yankees fan. So we can't do the online together the way we want to, because it's not as good as FM's online. Like, FM's online smokes it out of the water. It's like comparing 2K to NBA Live. Like, it's bad. But he had known of me playing 18, and I talked to him about it and stuff, and he's like, I'm curious, and it was $20 for 19, so it wasn't bad. But yeah, Agents of Mayhem. So I'm only 2 missions in. That being said, I tried playing with the controller and the keyboard.
Okay.
Now, Can you just give me an idea of how far along I'm tangenting right now?
The fact that you said that you tried to good catch. The fact that you said you tried to play it with both is making me think that the controls are an issue of some kind.
So I started with a keyboard. I was like, you know what? PC, keyboard, mouse.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, I can see. I can do this. The camera's weird because even though you run left, right, the moment you like try to turn, it swings your camera with your mouse. So there's a couple times you're trying to make some weird, like you're trying to run around a corner and stuff, and it kind of gets a little weird. It takes a little bit of adjusting too. Because like yes, obviously your camera should move when your mouse moves, but that's not exactly how it happened. It's kind of weird.
Like you moving with the
with my WASD is
also
also shifting camera somewhat.
Okay, yeah, I think I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, it looks a little weird.
It's like a drifty camera.
Yeah, and that's kind of whatever. It's not. It's almost like when you're drifting in a racing game around a corner, and your camera's still looking at your ass and not where you're going.
Yeah.
So you're like, I don't know where I'm supposed to be coming out of this corner, and that's kind of happening like as I'm trying to shoot people, and that doesn't help.
Yeah.
The shooting is a little weird. It's not bad, but it's very friendly. So it wants to aim assist. Maybe there's a setting to turn it off, but it wants to aim assist you a lot. Like when I had the controller in, and the camera was the same for the controller. It didn't matter what I was doing. Words. But both, I noticed it on the mouse. I noticed it on the controller more than the mouse, and it explained kind of what was happening in the mouse as I was trying to aim certain times. The old Call of Duty like speed test that you could do when you could just run down like the firing range, target would pop up, you just hit left trigger in the solo campaign and it just locks it on. It happens in this too. So like, oh, enemies are up, trigger shoot, trigger shoot, trigger shoot, trigger shoot, and you're just auto locking to everything. So I mean it's whatever. It's just kind of, I have to see if I can turn it off because it can, when I'm on the mouse, it kind of messes with it too much.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, I'm not trying to, I want to.
Where it like pulls you in the weird directions. Like there's a slight
right. It pulls you, and then there's the camera thing, which both then get affected, and it's like, but it's not.
That was.
It's
something.
not bad. Like those are my complaints, but like otherwise, it's not bad. Like it's not that bad. It's probably so far to me, I'm maybe giving it a 6 and a 10, maybe 5.5. But
it came out the same time as some other stuff that kind of like steamrolled it.
Well, it was also that, and it also came out with the idea that it's not online. And everybody's like, I don't understand why you're not online. So there was all that stuff, but it doesn't seem it seems like a 5.5 to 6, which like isn't a bad ratio. Like I
it's just a mediocre game.
I gave Medal of Honor Warfighter a 6. Like it's because of what it was. And it's like the campaign was fine except for these two spots, and the multiplayer was just Battlefield, so who cares? But it's I gotta give it more than the hour I've put in to really judge it. But I've only unlocked. I've only used like 3 of the characters. I haven't really gotten to any of the upgrade stuff for them. So whatever.
But how long of a game is it? Do you know?
I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, you could look at how long, but I haven't.
All right.
I'm assuming
we'll find out.
10. Ballpark. I'm giving myself plus minus 2 on each side of that. So, okay. Who knows? Maybe it's 15, but I'm gonna guess 10. I've been reading, been doing some reading. I finished the WoW book.
Yep.
And as you can see, I have a problem starting with that green book to the left.
Yeah, I see that. It's
Yeah, World of Warcraft, 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 Warcraft, and Warcraft.
It really bothers me though that you have one soft cover World of Warcraft book and it's not hardcover.
That one is a trilogy of 3 books.
Okay.
There's like
it looks really familiar.
There's 3 or 4 compendiums. That's probably I think that's the one you have. You told me about. That's the War of the Ancients one. That discusses the Night Elves and stuff.
That's why it looks so familiar.
Yes. That is the War of the Ancients
I
compendium.
appreciate that you have The Fall of Reach because that is by far the best Halo book.
You want to also know what?
What?
I haven't read it.
That's all right, though.
I think I've started it like 5 times, but I've never been able to finish it.
I don't know, like,
five very good reasons to punch a dolphin in the mouth is pretty good because the oatmeal is always funny. Ready Player One, I enjoyed the book better than the movie, and the one next to Ready Player One that you can't see is about Columbine. So take it as you will.
Interesting. Was it good?
Yeah, I really enjoyed that. I actually had to write like a college paper on it to determine if it's good literature. Whatever, it's a whole nother story. We won't tangent on. Had to determine if something was good literature, and it had to be out less than 2 years from.
So no one really knew.
Yeah, so nobody had. But no, there was it was a really informative book. Pretty good. So I read that WoW book, and when we talk about pre-patch later, I'll probably bring it up. But I think depending on where they start us, and I've been trying to stay away from a lot of the Battle for Azeroth news because I don't want a lot of it ruined for me. I'm pretty sure I know where we start and whatever, but like
surprisingly, like all the news that I run into is all gameplay related.
Yeah, it's mostly,
and it's none of it's like story.
No, a lot of the WoW community is good for like not telling story on people, and they also kind of lock stuff away at the same time. But
yeah,
like I'm pretty sure I know what the beginning scenario is. I think that's been confirmed. But if the beginning scenario is what it is, then there's still a gap from when that ends to when the beginning scenario starts that needs to kind of be explained. Mm-hmm. And maybe that's in pre-patch. Who knows? And then I started reading Takeoff by Joseph Reed. I'm about a third of the way through that, maybe a little bit more. It is once again a series, and this is book 1. And we all know normally how I feel about this.
This is very interesting that you are you're reading like book 1 in multiple series, and you'll probably never go back to any of them.
I haven't. None of them have ended with me going, I'm curious about book 2.
What's going to happen when you find one that does?
Then we'll see. I've read, there was one series, not counting like WoW as a series.
Yeah.
That there are 23 books in this house from that I have read all of. And there are more. But the problem is it started just kind of like repeating on itself.
What is this series?
I called it the Ashes series. I don't know if that's completely correct. Ashes was always in the title.
Yeah, I know what.
It's by William W. Johnstone. Mm-hmm. Usually a very Western writer. I don't care for his Westerns. Yeah, I just don't care for Westerns. I mean, not his specifically, but that one was about... He also writes very right. Like, not left-leaning. He's very right-leaning. Which that part doesn't matter to me at all.
Like, politically, you're saying?
Yes, he's politically right. His characters are. But this one was... It starts with problems, and then... I'll tell you later. Like, Ashes series, if you want to look it up, I've read like 23 of the books, and it's a fun time, I think. It does, but the problem was, as I was reading like the last ones that I was in, I was like, this is folding over on itself, and we're not... Now we're just dragging it out to drag it out.
It's probably a wise choice to, I don't know, having read so many Star Wars books, mm-hmm. like I'm probably coloring my opinion of it because of the fact that Disney bought it and basically scrapped the entire canon. But like I regret reading so many of them because like it's just to me now I feel like it was a lot of time I wasted.
Right. I don't regret.
I could have been reading other books.
I don't regret reading those. I think I was smart for recognizing I needed to stop because it just wasn't getting anywhere. Like it reached a bunch of conclusions and then went, but what if there's this new enemy? And I'm like, how is there a new enemy? But this book Takeoff, I'm gonna fucking take this entire podcast just talk. This book Takeoff is about, so far it's a U.S. Air Marshal who was outed technically, like as an air marshal, his name and face got out into the news, so he kind of had to not be an air marshal anymore.
Yeah.
But still kind of has his job, but just does it privately now.
Mm-hmm.
And he has to protect somebody, and essentially everything's going well, except that the FBI didn't foresee this giant tattooed militia gang coming at them.
Bane?
Yeah, pretty much. So... It's just the story of trying to protect this young, essentially teen pop star who obviously is...
Sounds cliche, but I'm sure it's probably will be good.
So far, it's pretty good. I haven't like wanted to go, nope, not continuing this one, which I have done, and then said, no, I'm just going to power through it to try to
we were in that topic of books. We were taking stock, Samantha and myself. We're taking stock of my books that I have stacked up and I've realized that every book, like I have this big, something like that, but stacked up. All of them have bookmarks at least halfway through them or further.
Those are all finished, except for the one I told you about.
Yeah, and then I just stop reading them randomly. I don't finish them.
There's a bunch that are still upstairs, but those are the ones that I, at the moment, felt fit.
Yeah. Well, the stack that's in my office is like all the books that I've tried to read, I'll say, in the past, like, probably 3 years. And it's just like, I get like, Lord of the Rings is a good example. I have the trilogy, and I read through. I was like, I don't know, a couple hundred pages away from finishing The Return of the King, and I just randomly stopped reading it. So, I don't know. I have lots of problems, but what can you do? No one's perfect. No one's perfect.
It's true,
except for Nate.
There you go. Good job. I don't have to say it. And then I've been watching baseball, watching the World Cup. We got semifinals are over.
How do you feel about the?
We have third place match tomorrow, first place match on Sunday.
Croatia
and France for first place, and then England and Belgium for third.
What's your you got predictions? Do you care?
I would like France to win because France has Paul Pogba, who is on my favorite team, Manchester United. At the same time, I would love Croatia to win just because it's a great story.
Yeah.
And Luka Modric has been a stud of a player for like his entire career. And it's the underdog story you want.
Yeah.
And they're a good team. Ivan Perisic and Luka Modric and all these other guys are just going to Ivan Rakitic will show up and do things. But I mean, if you were to technically take them on paper, France beats them in every position except for like Luka's position. But who knows when they show up to play?
Yeah, I don't have any vested interest. Like I've passively been spectating, but for some reason, I want France to just fucking crush them. And I think it's just that me being like evil, like all these people are like, oh, Croatia, underdog story, so wonderful. I just want to be like, fucking bury them. Like, crush everyone's hope.
I mean, technically, that's what I think England thought they were going to do, and then they got their asses kicked.
Yeah, I know.
I say asses kicked. It was a tie game and lost in extra time, but still, they shouldn't.
It was not expected, I'm sure.
Right. Been watching baseball, obviously, as I said earlier. We're going to the All-Star game, or we're not going to the All-Star game, but we're into All-Star break, so it's a fun time there. Trade deadline's the end of this month, so rumors are starting. And
the old rumor mill.
The last thing I've been watching is I'm finally through Westworld Season 1.
Oh, yeah, I forgot you started that.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
Fuck.
Good, bad,
good.
Different, good? Oh, interesting.
But I think it's nice currently for me. One, I know Season 2 is a crazy shit show.
Is there Season 2 out already?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, Season 2 just finished 2 weeks ago or last week. So it's already streaming on HBO Go. But I enjoy it, and it is very mindfucky. And it works for me having somebody in my office at work who has watched 1 and 2. So I would come in and I'd be like, all right, so now I've watched episodes 7 and 8. Like, what the fuck? And he will not tell me, like, spoiler-wise, but we will sit there and just kind of discuss things, or he'll confirm or say, like, you'll find out later what that actually is and stuff like that. I'm like, so that helps kind of get through a lot of the questions. And I avoid the subreddit like a plague. I don't want to know.
Yeah.
It's a good time. I enjoy it.
All right, Westworld. Nate's seal of approval.
Yep.
Hard to obtain.
We should make a seal of approval, a Nate seal of approval.
All right.
And then do reviews, and they'll just say, like...
We'll do, like, Nate's reviews, and you'll give it Nate reviews.
I was going to say officiated, but, like, there's no N before the 8 in that word. So it can't be, like, officiated.
Yeah.
Because opinionated is a show I want to do.
Well, just
because Yeah, a stamp that just says opinion. I guess so. You could do that.
Yeah.
But opinionated is a show I want to do, and just capitalize NATE in the word opinionated.
Yeah.
Whatever. Pipe dreams, right? Shall we get to new releases and actually get back onto this podcast idea, other than just talk for a while?
I guess. I mean,
we're going to talk for the rest of the time anyway. New releases in video games for this week. Our Nate has shit in his pockets. Number 1. I had mowing the lawn.
oh, I was gonna make a comment about why you putting shit in your pockets. Like that's
I can save it for later.
Right?
You know, when I tell somebody I have to go to the bathroom and they're like, I don't believe you, I'm like, go look at the toilet. What the fuck? I don't think sometimes when I have to start just making up a joke.
I don't think ever. So
Number 1. Is it? Number 1, 20XX for PS4, Switch, and Xbox.
Could it be Roman numerals?
2010.
2020? Maybe.
Figure it out for PS4, Switch, and Xbox.
Is that how Roman numerals work when you get to that point?
Well, that would be 20, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Really weird. You just put 20 though, and then
I don't know.
Anyway,
man.
Bomber Crew came out for PS4, Xbox, and Switch. Number 3 is Dream Match Tennis VR for the PS4. Number 4 is Hunting Simulator for the Switch. Bet you they couldn't get the license to Cabela's.
I've heard that Hunting Simulator is better.
It probably is. It's probably because they don't have the Cabela's license on it.
I think it's the same
People probably.
Yeah.
Number 5, Insane Robots for PS4 and Xbox. Number 6, MXGP Pro for the PS4 and Xbox. Number 7, The Culling 2 for PS4, Xbox, and I think PC, but we'll talk about that later. Number 8, Warhammer Vermintide 2 has made its way to the Xbox. Number 9 is Bomb Chicken for the Switch. I think we talked about that before. Number 10 is Holy Potatoes, a weapon shop for PS4 and Switch.
cool name.
Yeah, that's why I put it in there. Who says Holy Potatoes, right? Number 11, Radio Hammer Station for the Switch. Number 12 is Captain Toad Treasure Tracker has made its way to Switch and 3DS. And number 13, Octopath Traveler for the Switch.
Oh, shizzle.
And now I guess we should dive right into it. And I'll go first.
All right.
I was just trying to glance everywhere and see what's up, but I'll go first.
We can always just
we can
rotation. Who cares?
We can do whatever we want.
We run the show here. I mean, we could do whatever we want.
Fuck you, producers. There's nobody over there.
There's no producer.
Nobody pay attention to the man that doesn't exist behind the curtain. Number 1 for the flashy news headlines.
I had a weird schedule this week. I'm going to preface this.
Okay, great. I can't wait because I haven't read this.
Weird schedule this week. Didn't have my normal time to do the prep for the document. So it's a little rough. All right. So, you'll probably like it better because it's not, some places it's not complete sentences. It's like literally just like cliff notes of like things.
I like to say that I'll like that better because I will just Ron Burgundy it, except for the most part. So we'll see. Number 1, we'll start the week with a ridiculous collector's edition. Darksider 3 Apocalypse Edition is going to be $400.
Sweet
It
Jesus.
includes a wall scroll, which is a fabric print with a hanger that is 30 inches by 40 inches.
It's fucking huge.
Yeah, what's that? Just shy of 3 feet by 4 feet? Yeah.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
That's pretty big.
That's what she said.
You must really like Darksider 3 if you got that on your wall. It also comes with 4 figurines. I bet you they're Men of the Apocalypse with names like Fury, who is 11 inches tall, Vulgrim, War, and Death, who is only 10 inches tall.
Yep. That's weird. I find it strange they put one at 11 inches and 3 of them at 10 inches.
One's probably slouched.
Okay.
I don't know. It also comes with a heavyweight amulet, 5 centimeters or 2 inches, with a necklace. I mean, I guess if you really want to try to get your Darksider cosplay on early, it comes in a steel book It comes with the art book, comes with the soundtrack, and it comes with Fury exclusive armor DLC.
That seems obscenely expensive for like what you get.
Depending on the quality of both the scroll and the statues, maybe it's not that crazy.
Yeah.
Because I've seen a singular statue that's 11-inch statue go for $70 to $120.
Oh yeah, like I bought a collector's edition of the game, and it came with a statue, and the statue was like very nice.
Yeah.
So,
but still, luckily I don't care that much about Darksider 3 to spend $400 on it. So,
yeah, I agree with that sentiment.
Perfect. Moving on.
Moving on to number 2. Blizzard continues to push gaming into new audiences by striking up a deal to bring Overwatch League to ESPN, Disney, and ABC family of networks. The agreement mainly focuses on live matches and full replays, but it also includes digital rights that the networks, in quote, plan to take full advantage of, according to ESPN Vice President of Digital Media Programming, John Lasker. So maybe we'll probably see it on their apps, streaming services as well. Cool for Overwatch.
Cool for them. I still find it so funny that us, we're not an industry. Gaming as an industry still can't get out of its head that like TV is the goal.
Yeah, yeah.
No, TV is dying.
Mm-hmm.
But whatever, that's not the point.
Yeah.
Cool for them. Like it's obviously a big deal because it's going onto a mainstream platform. But at the same time, it's like
they made a point to focus.
Your audience is in the internet.
Yeah, they made a point to focus on the fact that like, this deal is going to bring Overwatch to like ESPN's channels, and it's like that's
cool, but it's also on ESPN 3. It's not on ESPN 1 or ESPN 2.
Actually, it's ESPN 2.
It's ESPN 3 and then 2.
So
it's 2 only when it gets to I think it was the finals and stuff.
Yeah, the finals, the playoffs. I think.
Yeah, playoffs, finals,
I don't
World
know
Cup.
They're calling them.
They call them playoffs, but then there's also a World Cup too that they host.
Like they don't need that, and it seems like a waste of focus. They could have just sold rights to put it on streaming services and apps, and they would get more of an audience. But it seems like they're trying to pull in people that wouldn't normally.
I think it's a combination of that and the fact that I think ESPN is dying, and ESPN is trying to save itself by bringing people back to cable.
Which will never happen.
No, right? Because as far as I'm concerned, and I don't have the metrics in front of me, obviously, but I would assume that majority of Overwatch's audience has already ditched their cable package and uses streaming services, like Hulu, like Sling, like whatever.
Yeah.
So whatever. Number 3. Matt didn't give me any details. It's just what I wrote, and I don't know all the details anyway. So here we go.
I breezed through it, and I was like, "Oh, he knows what it is."
Nope, that's why I just gave you the base stuff to grab and not the rest of it. Fortnite Season 5 has started. New skins, new maps, new worlds. I believe they're calling this season Worlds Collide.
Yeah.
There's golf courses. There's a golf cart that you can drift in now. You can warp through tears in the world. Bunch of other fun stuff happening. New skins are coming. Good time. Battle Pass is out. Go get it. Go enjoy it.
Yeah, it's out now, right?
Yep. Right now.
Started now. Whatever.
Yeah, it's out whenever it came out. Tuesday or whatever.
Number 4. Neil Druckmann mentioned that Ellie will have an NPC partner in The Last of Us 2. During an interview with BuzzFeed, I can't speak, he said, quote, "Well, so Ellie used to be an NPC, but she's the protagonist in this story. So the player is controlling Ellie. It's safe to say with the game that we made in the past that there will be some NPC with you in this story." So, obviously, naturally, there's a ton of speculation about that. So some people are saying it's Joel, it's that girl from the demo that she kisses, it's the woman from the earlier trailer.
Right. What if it's Joel, but he's like the mysterious stranger in Fallout?
That'd be cool. He just shows up randomly, new people.
Yeah, he just all you hear is doom doom doom, and there's just a pistol. Boom. He's just whoo later. 1 second.
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to confirm I heard horses.
I smelled them before I heard them.
No, that's me.
Oh, okay. Well, you smell like a horse.
My ass probably does.
Maybe.
My ass is bad.
All right.
It's vile tonight.
Well, you gotta stop eating that garbage.
And that's like a scan day for you, buddy. Put you through that hell. Number 5. Subnautica is finally coming to PS4 after being available on PC and Xbox for years. It's being ported by developer Panic Button, who also ported Doom and Wolfenstein 2 to the Switch. It's expected to drop sometime this holiday season.
Oh, shizzle.
Cool. Kenny loves Subnautica. I know, actually, our buddy Sousa does too, so.
It looks good. It looks like what No Man's Sky should have been. Like
in
that,
in ocean. I wanted to say in space, but it's, that's what No Man's Sky, whatever.
Number 6. I feel like we're flying through the. Well, we were talking for like ever, anyways. So
well, we were talking for whatever, but it's also just kind of like a slow week in news where this is all no shit. Because did we avoid Guild Wars?
We did.
Yeah,
I
so
did
we
avoid
avoided
Guild Wars simply because I didn't want to.
Yeah.
It's just whatever. At this point, I don't care.
If anything, we'll touch on it for about 5 seconds at the end.
Yeah, a lot of the stuff towards the end are open-ended, like discussions that we're probably going to have about it.
Oh, I see one of them that I don't want to talk about.
Okay.
Well, no, that I'll talk about, but I just don't give a shit. Number 6.
I'm trying to guess which one.
What do you mean you're trying to guess? Come on.
Well, it's probably I don't know. See, we'll get there. I assume the last two you just wouldn't give a fuck about at all.
Oh no, one's a subset of another one. Anyway, number 6.
Number 6, The Culling 2 is the latest game to try to grab that battle royale money. Unfortunately, the developer
I like Xaviant.
All right, Xaviant. We'll go with Xaviant. Decided to launch alongside Fortnite's Season 5 launch and a relaunch of PUBG's test server. So, don't know how that's going to work out for them. Well, I'll tell you how that's going to work out because I wrote that. In the first 24 hours of being online, the peak player count was 13.
Solid.
That's for Steam, by the way. Most Steam reviews claim that it is an unfinished game by a developer trying to cash in on the Battle Royale fad.
There's that. There's a lot of other people saying that it does a disservice to what the Culling 1 was, where Culling 1 focused a lot on like melee combat with the spears and stuff, and this one's like, oh no, we're now ARs and everything. So it's very...
Sounds like real life.
It's very PUBG styled, or PUBG tried money grab.
Well,
I mean, it's that move to that modern side of...
What, like
the Culling was...
What Battle Royale is now.
Yeah, because the Culling, it was like H1Z1, you're Culling, and then PUBG, and now that PUBG took over, and then Fortnite surpassed that, it's like now everybody's you're still trying to play catch up.
It's kind of funny, though, because if they would have kept with their original style, it probably would have been more popular because it'd be different.
Yeah, you always want to be different. You don't want to be the same. You got to have something that makes it different. Number 7.
14, dude.
YouTube has terminated or given strikes to several larger streamers for videos that point to the streamers' Twitch accounts. According to YouTube, they are enforcing a policy to keep the platform free of spam and content whose main purpose is to drive people off of YouTube and onto another site. One of the bigger channels that fell prey to this, Linus Tech Tips, acknowledged that this is an existing policy, but that they only decided recently to enforce it. YouTube might be getting a little bit nervous about Twitch being super fucking popular. Or jealous. Because here come the 2 high school girls ready to fight for attention.
Let's get that competition.
Too bad one of you is a streaming service and the other one's not.
Yeah.
Hey, one of you's trying to be, and there's your problem.
Yep. Yep.
Number 8.
I'm gonna read this one and then
that's what I want.
Break it down.
That's why I as I was doing my jump throughs, I was like, perfect.
Another World of Warcraft expansion is on the horizon.
That's right, Matt. It is. By all accounts, it's August 14th. Sorry. Are we just?
It kind of sounded like we turned into like a news show here, like a morning news show.
I'm out in the field with this Velociraptor.
Ooh, this got interesting.
Who says that pandas are stupid? I don't know.
On July 17th, wrecked by the iPad, the screen, man. There's no transition. It doesn't do a dim or anything like that. It's just like off.
Wow.
On July 17th, the pre-patch for Battle for Azeroth will be released. The patch will remove some old content, as well as bring all of the new expansion class changes and rebalances, and a sprinkle of new quests. One noteworthy change is Legion artifact weapon traits will be disabled, but players will be able to transmog, did I say that?
Yes.
Any weapon into their old artifact, keeping to the same archetype. Another one is the stat squish. That's going to happen. I love that little term. It shouldn't actually change how the game plays, but make the numbers easier to look at and manage.
Yeah, so...
Or anything else you want to add in there?
I'll just kind of step through with a little bit more detail, I guess. So yeah, it's removing some old content. There's just stuff that they're dropping out. I think certain garrison missions are getting dropped out beforehand, and
things relevant to the
achievement stuff you're losing.
Story expansion.
Achievements that you needed to get before pre-patch are getting dropped out and locked away that you can't get anymore and stuff like that. As far as bringing the class changes, all the ones that they've announced, as far as like Survival Hunter's changing a bunch with new spells and like how it works. And other stuff like that, like just spell changes or new spells or old spells getting reworked and kind of how you play it. Those changes are just coming. Disc Priest is another one that's getting a lot of changes. And the rebalances are the same thing. Sprinkle of new quests are just more Horde versus Alliance shit leading up to the more about what you have to do with the sword that's in Silithus. The Legion artifact weapon traits are disabled, but the transmog thing is they had announced before that don't worry about losing what your artifact looks like because you'll be able to transmog because you can change appearance of anything.
Is that what the transmog thing means?
Transmogrification.
Okay.
So if you had, say you were just getting a bunch of gear, but you all end up looking like garbage because you know, people love aesthetics. You can just go to a vendor and there's a window that has like all the appearances that you have earned for that slot, like all your chest ones that you can wear, and you can choose that and it puts that appearance on over it. So that's what they're talking about. You can do that with your weapons going forward, where it's like if you really liked what your weapon looked like with your artifact, you can go back and put your artifact look on it. And the stat squish is because now we have people pulling 1 to like 3 million or more DPS.
Yeah, that's what I kind of.
So your numbers are just massive. So we're getting back down to sub 1,000 numbers and stuff like that.
Just like starting fresh with the numbers again, so you don't have to like deal with the.
They've done it. They've done it in previous expansions where we're like, okay, we're getting too silly, bring it back, bring it back. So we're just gonna do that again.
Cool. Anything else you want to add?
That's pretty much it. No, I mean, there's going to be professions are changing. So now each expansion has its own tier.
Are there any... This was one of the questions I had about it, just out of curiosity. Are there any big changes to any of the class? Not the new... There's a new class coming in, I'm assuming? There's not. Okay. Is there any changes to the classes that are like...
Yeah.
Kind of a big deal?
That was like the Survival Hunter is getting a lot of changes. Disc Priest is getting a lot of changes. Like where some of them are just the minor ones, like to certain abilities and stuff. Other ones are getting like almost full overhauls. Like Todd was playing Survival Hunter, and he's like, I don't even want to learn it right now because it's going to change too much on Tuesday. He wants to learn it then. So stuff like that.
Anything you've seen that has you concerned?
Not concerned. Stuff that has me intrigued. Like the new Disc Priest, just kind of how they seem to be going kind of back to the way I like to play it. I don't like the way to play it now. But for me, it has none of my guys are really that affected.
How good have they been at nailing like balance, as in like predicting the meta, and you know what I mean? Like, have they had any game breakages where they didn't foresee something and then like someone figures something out and that becomes the meta?
No, I mean, I don't think we've seen like a Destiny problem.
Yeah.
PvP is a little different.
I'm thinking along PvP, the lines of like the Guild Wars like 55 monk situation.
Oh, 55 monk, yeah.
Where like it clearly wasn't intended to do that, but...
Well, at the same time, when it wasn't intended to do that, they also had runes in that took 75 of your health away, so it seemed like it was intended. I know what you mean. No, there hasn't really ever been I mean, your items and changes and rotations and stuff like that all can, like one patch can just slightly tweak somebody to be better than the other one just by changing a coefficient on a spell.
Yeah.
So that's part of why it can be interesting to watch. They do a thing called the Mythic Invitational, and Mythics are the highest level dungeons you can do, not raids, just dungeons. And they put them, I think it's to default like plus 17 or 18. And people, there's 5-man group, and people bring different 5-man groups because they want to do it differently and play differently and stuff like that. So sometimes you can see stuff there. There is a DPS simulator that says if everything goes completely correct, these are roughly the top to bottom DPS rankings. Like, if everything's good on this certain class specialization, they would be the best in the group. And if you're playing this one, you're like the worst. It's like 1 through 25 or something like that. So, and that's usually changing too. So you can get an idea usually.
See, I haven't caught any sort of backlash about any in that vein.
Not
and
really.
It's kind of impressive that they can like
some people get kind of pissy
so
with some shit, but it's not
because there's so many variables especially with WoW. There's so many variables.
They're ditching. Not that it really affects me, but I find it kind of interesting. They're getting rid of first aid. Now tailors make bandages, and alchemists make your anti-venom. I don't know anybody that was using anti-venom. Maybe it was a PvP thing. I don't know, but just interesting stuff like that.
That's cool.
The profession thing is they're changing it so you go through each expansion on its own. So say you wanted to start now, in order to get to Legion stuff, you would have to go 1 to 800 to catch up. But if you wanted to just start on Tuesday, you'd only have to go 1 to whatever it is. I'll say 100. I don't think that's true, but 1 to that expansion. And then if you want to do the old expansions, you have to go back to them to level them up. They're no longer in your way of leveling a profession.
They exist in each expansion,
right?
Separate from each other.
Yep, they're still in your same window, but you don't have to do them to be current.
They come up with crafty ways to keep the option open to bring in to join in.
Yeah, when people are like, "Man, I don't really want to start back up," I'm like, I don't think you understand. It's easier than it's ever been.
Yeah. That's why I find it funny when people are so that people are so interested in WoW Classic. I'm like, I don't think you people remember how hard the game was when it first came out.
A lot of people don't remember, but at the same, it does still have a very large cult following. That's like, I remember back in my day when I didn't have transmogrification. I looked like an idiot walking around with this one metal shoulder and this.
What I feel like people forget how long it took to level up initially. It was
it's a grind.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
All right, so the last couple things are just kind of things that I threw in there to foster conversation.
I can't wait.
I'm gonna go out of order here. We're going to do a little section for movie news and rumors. And what spurred me to do this little section was actually the Joker movie rumors or
real news. Quick, that's out of order. Whatever, keep going.
Yeah. So there's an upcoming Joker movie with director Todd Phillips, who is most known for directing The Hangover. And it's going to star Joaquin Phoenix as the Joker. Phoenix and Phillips' Joker movie is described as an, quote, exploration of a man disregarded by society that is not only a gritty character study, but also a broader cautionary tale, according to The Hollywood Reporter. That's meant to be different from comic book superhero movies.
The longer you stare into the abyss,
yes,
it stares back into you.
It's curious. So you're a Batman fan. You like the Joker.
Yep.
I'm just curious what you thought about that.
Interesting casting.
I'm kind of intrigued because of the casting.
I'm happy it's not Jared Leto's Joker.
Yeah. There was other news in there.
Not
too,
because I don't have anything against Jared Leto.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't like that Joker. I don't like Pimp Joker is really what he was, and that to me,
yeah,
I prefer Dark Joker.
I think this has that was my thing is I feel like this has the potential to be a very dark Joker.
Yeah, I prefer dark Joker or even like weirdly silly Joker. Like Nicholson's Joker is dark, but he's also just silly.
It's like a dark silly, yeah.
Yeah, he's like weirdly silly when he's like hoo hoo, and he's still squirting a flower off his jacket. And you're like, you just said you're gonna murder a family. Like I'm so confused by your antics, which is the Joker, but pimp Joker with a grill and slick. I'm like, I can't take you seriously.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, I'm really intrigued because
the first trailer I think will tell me a lot.
Yeah, I mean Joaquin Phoenix is a very interesting individual,
and to have the guy that did The Hangover doing it.
Yeah, which if you think like looking back, The Hangover was like it was a good movie. It was comedy, but it was like somewhat. There was like dark undertones to it.
There were definitely weird moments, but it's still just like one of those like you're gonna. We'll see.
Yeah.
Does he look like a guy with a plan?
I threw the Nathan Fillion thing in there just because it popped up and I thought it was kind of interesting. But it's Comic-Con this weekend, obviously.
Yep, San Diego Comic-Con.
Yep. And Nathan
or as the people would say, San Diego.
I don't know who says that, but
I think it's one of the lines in Anchorman, isn't it?
Oh, I don't know. I haven't seen that movie in so long. I only watched.
I believe it was named for the Saint Diego.
Oh yeah. Okay, I know what you're talking about.
San Diego.
He's posted a couple photos on Instagram that a lot of people are interpreting as being some sort of Uncharted project.
Oh, of course they are.
The first picture was.
He's probably just cosplaying.
He probably is, but. The first picture was a photo of Drake, like the rapper Drake.
Okay.
And it had in the caption the saying that's on Drake's ring. It's Latin. I can't remember what it is.
I say you'd have to tell me. I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, it means greatness from new beginnings.
Okay. I was going to say a franchise I don't know enough about.
Oh,
so.
yeah. I forget about that.
I forget you're uneducated.
And then the second Instagram photo was like a map with a... It was like a table with like a map and a magnifying glass and like a leather book, like that type of stuff. So yeah, there's that. In the late edition, Zombieland sequel.
Now
with the original cast and director.
I like that this is in there because I enjoy a movie review from us.
Mm-hmm.
Has this has been around though, hasn't it? I feel like I've seen this like either last week or the week before that this exact idea has been out there. Similar, I mean, it happens both to us and I literally watch major news outlets do it all the time where they write a news article and I go, knew about that 2 weeks ago, don't understand why you think it's breaking news.
Yo, you're not crazy that it was, but it wasn't. No one knew it was Zombieland. They just were like, "Oh, there's this weird movie with this cast," and then
because it was the same cast was the part.
It was, but it was like it included like Bill Murray and all these like
because it's people Bill fucking Murray.
You would like he's supposed to be dead though. He could be a zombie.
He's a zombie. Yeah. What do you mean? It's Zombieland. He's just zombie Bill Murray, and you know very well that he is sentient zombie Bill Murray. You're not going to let him just be a zombie. He's going to definitely have a one-liner.
Which, outside of that news article, it's popped up multiple times the past couple of years as being like rumors. But this is the first time that Sony has come out and said, "Yeah, this is happening." And
what better time?
Yeah,
Comic-Con.
So yeah, there's that. I don't know if you have anything that you want to add on any of those topics.
Nope.
Okay. The last thing I want to throw in for conversation purposes, as far as game development goes, is the juxtaposition. I saw it brought up. I was flipping through Reddit when I got out of work. And someone had written a post or whatever about Anthem and BioWare and blah, blah, blah. So BioWare's been very active on social media, Twitter, and Reddit, talking, responding to questions, all that good stuff. And someone made the comparison of BioWare and Bungie. Their games look very similar, but they're handling the community
better.
Polar opposites.
Yeah. Timid.
And
this is what we are. This is what we could be.
Knowing BioWare's recent,
trepidation.
yeah, whatever. Their recent
I don't know if that's actually the
stop
right word.
issues with Andromeda and stuff like that.
Yes,
I'm
they're
curious.
shortcomings.
I would assume that they saw what happened with Bungie and Destiny and the backlash of how like people are like, what the fuck's going on, and they're like, all right, we'll just answer everything. Like, fuck it.
Yeah.
And I'm curious if you like, do you think this is a trend that we'll be seeing? Because like social media is not going away, obviously.
I think,
and there is kind of like a wall that has been there for a bit between developer and consumer.
I think it's a combination of two things. And we'll throw Star Wars Last Jedi onto this conversation.
Mm-hmm.
It's going... the wall is going away for a couple reasons. It's...
For better or for worse?
I mean, I think it's for better, but it's going away because the way we present things is changing. With E3 being, now back to being the public and being in this information age of knowing everything. I mean, you can call somebody on a lie in 10 seconds if, Dev on stream says one thing and you're like, your buddy on the art team said this. Like, you two probably should figure this out. Mm-hmm. So they need to have one clear message and just say it.
Yeah.
The other part of that is with Bungie, people thinking they own the property, which is not how this works, which is the Last Jedi problem.
That was
like, you've ruined Star Wars for me. It's like, it's not your fucking property.
That was the better for worse comment that I made there, was the fact that, like, in this case, it's working out for BioWare. It seems to be so far working out for BioWare. Right. But knowing how fickle the mob is, like, right. How quickly can it turn to, like, a Bungie / Last Jedi situation where they think that it is theirs.
Right, which is what happened specifically into Destiny 2. Like, Destiny 1, they got shit during Destiny 1. Destiny 2, they got shit immediately for taking away my Destiny experience at the end of Destiny 1. Mm-hmm. Like, it's the nerd culture. It's not even just nerd culture. You see it in jock culture with sports, too, when people start complaining that their teams are doing certain things. You don't, unless you own some type of actual serious stake in the company, or you are designing the game, doesn't matter. Like, you can voice your opinion, but the problem is when you voice your opinion, you have to do it respectfully.
Yeah. And
not, screw it, let's go full internet nerd rage. Fuck you, you dirty slut, for ruining my... You killed Cade. Fuck you. Like, what? It's not yours, dude.
I would like to have a conversation with, like, the BioWare devs, because, like, the way that there's a couple things that stood out to me that I am curious about. Like, they went so far, they opened up their Twitter, like, for questions for, like, a 24-hour period or something like that. And they went so far as to point out, to give reasons, a list of reasons, possible reasons as to why they didn't answer certain questions. Mm-hmm. As they went into detail enough to where, like, at some point, people were being like, wait, explain this reason. Like, I don't understand what you're meaning. Like, they were giving straight industry talk. Like, we can't answer this question for accounting reasons. Like, because we have to be able to make X amount of money on this. Like, I was like, all right, this is, like, almost to, like, a fault that they're, like, they're explaining why they, like, why they can't answer you. And, like, the other thing is, I lost my train of thought, but, like it's almost like, I'm curious to see how the balance settles there in the future, because, like, how much is too much, and as far as, like, involving people, and then, like, at what point, if the players are guests essentially in these people's houses, for lack of a better term.
That's
like,
pretty much true, yeah.
Like, how, like, you're not going to walk into someone's house and start insulting it. Like,
yeah, it's there's the other. I'll go back to your insulting comment in a second here. The other, like my third point of this changing our landscape, we're talking about an online game. So we're talking, what are you doing to keep us here? What is this progression system?
Yeah.
Yada yada. We've had it too many times where people are like, No Man's Sky is worse than the Bungie situation of promise, nothing.
Yeah.
Because they marketed poorly, and people around that game marketed poorly. And I don't care how many times I hear it from a certain 3 industry people that I unfortunately hear it from too often. You played the game behind fucking closed doors and did not come back and go, whoa, hey. Like, you have giant influence, and at no point did I remember did you go, whoa, what are you guys thinking this? That is not what this is.
Yeah.
And then went, well, I don't understand why everybody thought that. Because they didn't play the same thing you did. So you need, if your influencers aren't going to do it, which is kind of what you're relying on the free PR there for the most part, of bringing the community back down, then you have to be out there in front of it and doing it. Which is, I just think, what they're trying to embrace, especially with the online game. Like, if it was a single-player game and it was a one-experience thing, they wouldn't be out here like this. But because it's an online ecosystem and there's going to be these classes and character progression and how can I play with my friends and do these missions, do these raids or whatever they're going to do, like, when you start getting into that side of things like Destiny or whatever, there's a lot of questions to be asked because, yes, you will have people that are done with that game in 1 week and have done everything.
Yeah.
But what are you going to keep doing for the people that aren't? Or the people that are done to keep them coming back regularly if you actually want to maintain that game?
What's an interesting observation is that they didn't start using this tactic until after E3, and people were like, the demo was, like, the E3 presentation was terrible.
Yeah, and I think that was a wake-up for them when we're like, the presentation you put on stage is garbage. But we're hearing about this 20-minute closed demo that's way better. Why are we not seeing that?
Yeah.
And so then it was like, oh, wait. We needed to switch this. Like,
yeah.
And so now I think, even though they got the shit for it, and I'm sure, obviously, there's always the stupid minority that just yells really loud, but I'm sure there was at least some constructive stuff of like, can you show us that? Because like that's what we're looking at when we want to know something. We don't need these art, story panels that you're telling us about. Like, we've seen them. We want to see your gameplay and then ask questions on top of that. Not questions about Casey and 3 other people sitting in chairs. Was Casey wearing an orange shirt? Like, no, it's not what we care about. The other, what did I say I was going to go back to for you?
Oh, shit, what was it? The house thing.
Of stepping on people's, going into people's house and just, people don't understand that gaming, you do not buy the game. And I don't know how many people I have to try to explain this to.
Yeah.
You do not own the game, and you have not technically bought the game. You have bought a license to use that software. That license can be revoked whenever they so wish. Probably. I haven't actually read my terms and conditions.
Technically, they probably, yeah.
If they really wanted to, yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure they could probably just put a recall out on it and bring it back anyway. But
Too Human did that.
Yeah. So there's stuff like you do not own the game. The only way you can make an argument with me that you own the game is that you paid the studio's budget to make it.
Yeah.
Which for some of these games is over $100 million.
Yeah, I think a lot of people seem to forget that it is art more than
you did not buy
things.
Star Wars. You spent $13 to, I'll give you $25 if you went to like an IMAX, and watched art.
Yeah. It's
You did not go, Star Wars only has a $250 million budget, huh? I'll buy it. That is not what happened.
you have the right to criticize it and have your opinion, but they don't have a responsibility to
Yes.
make you feel better about it.
You can say whatever you want about it, but they have, which is fun when you see like James Gunn and people out there,
Yeah.
like the directors that are just like, I don't give a shit.
Yep.
I made what I wanted to make.
Yeah, they're like,
and
oh,
I
you
hate
didn't
to-
like it? Okay, don't watch it.
Yeah,
Like,
and I hate to tell you, you didn't like it, but these Scrooge McDuck piles of money tell different stories.
my $1 billion that I made for Disney over there.
My toilet paper roll that is all $100 bills said otherwise. So just a wake-up call, people. That's all.
Sheeple. Wake up, Sheeple.
Oh, my God. I thought we were
All right,
going
where
to
are we at here?
Thought we were good for not making references. We're probably running over, and I say
we
probably because I already know we're over an hour. I can see the longer digits.
We got deals.
Yeah, we got
questions.
we got
What are
any
we doing?
deals? I mean, Humble's not kind of really anything too exciting there. Still just a monthly deal. I mean, Matt could tell us about the Chuck Tingle deal if you really wanted to.
Oh Jesus, I forgot about that. If you like,
Still going.
if you like buttholes, no, I don't.
That's a really weird. If you like weirdly, I guess it's technically erotic fiction,
Yeah, but it's like,
but it's super weird.
it's gay erotic fiction.
Yeah, and it's
so
super aware of what it is.
Yeah,
To the point where like the titles are like something my gleaming butthole, and you're like,
yeah, the book about my like,
yeah, the book about my butthole being a butthole inside another dude's butt. It's so
Yeah,
weird.
It's interesting.
Obviously we don't necessarily endorse that, but I mean, hey, whatever you're into, dude, I don't care.
Yeah, as
I
long as
just
you're
find
happy. We're happy.
Yeah, if you're happy, I don't give a shit. It's just so funny to me that that's a book.
It's probably good.
And that being said, that the name of the series is Chuck Tingle. I don't know. That name just makes me giggle.
I wonder if that's his real name or a pen name.
I hope to God it's a pen name.
I hope it's real. I want it to be real.
I
I want him writing these books to be like his destiny, like what he was meant to do for humanity.
I gotta text Kenny and find out a name of what one of his characters is, and characters, what one of his players is, because it's something like Rick Hardon. It's something awful like that. It was just a name that was generated. It's not, but his name's like Rick Hardon. I'm like,
Generated.
this is great.
Some developer made that name and was like, yeah, this name's going to come up.
I think they just have like a list of last names and a list of first names and let the game just match them.
Someone slipped something in there.
yeah.
It's like, oh, you got to put these two together. Like,
Yeah, it's a great time to see stuff like that. Twitch Prime still has games every single day. Get in, redeem them. I think I'm already up. What day are we on? Something. I'm like plus 13 games already this month because of that.
I don't have Prime, man.
You don't have Amazon Prime, do you?
I'm too poor for that stuff.
Right. Well, you did have it.
I did at one point, yeah.
But find somebody that has an Amazon Prime account, because if they're an older person, I guarantee they're not using their Twitch Prime stuff. Free things for you.
That's a good point, actually.
It's a really good point. Mooch.
Yes.
Mooch, people. Not hard. And then Prime Day. Prime Day is coming up, I believe, next week. I think it's Tuesday or Monday, one of the two.
It's very soon. The hype train's building.
So if you want to buy things, buy them. And I will tell you right now, coming from retail, if you try to walk into a retail store and match with the deal on Prime, you're probably going to get shut down. So don't act like the crazy woman who says, I want to see your manager.
Yeah, don't do that.
With a southern tang.
I did in passing. I don't know if this is 100% factual because I was in a hurry and I saw the headline in passing, but I read something that said that a lot of Razer peripherals, keyboards, mice, that type of thing, are going to be 40% off for Prime Day.
Ooh.
So I don't know
that
if
is the second best sale of the year on Razer peripherals, because the other one is when they potentially win Best of Show at CES in February.
Yeah. So I don't know if that's how factual that is. I'll have to look into that afterwards, or I can do it now.
I mean, if you want, we can do it later. So that's if you want perifs from Razer, you can get them from there. I might be dabbling.
I don't recommend it, by the way, personally, but their hardware is good. It's that software.
Oh yeah, their Synapse is annoying. I might be looking at parts. We'll see. Who knows?
Uh-oh.
Well, I mean,
need that CPU
I still need a CPU and I still need a graphics card, but we're still kind of trying to play the teeter on the edge game with when the new ones get announced.
Mm-hmm.
And if there's a cheap enough case, because Amazon for some reason is way better than Newegg with cases, like just selection wise. I would prefer to get like a not a small one, not like a micro, because I want
Come to the dark side.
No, because I still want to be able to take. It's that motherboard that needs to fit in it, and that's not a micro. But I need to just get like a smaller, updated case to
skill saw. We'll just cut it. Check it.
I need to just get a smaller one to replace this guy, so that can go to my actual spare somewhere, and just to have like a smaller.
Just throw it out.
Yeah, go ahead, and you just toss your box.
What?
Your box of parts?
I did. Yeah, I tossed it.
When?
I tossed most of it. Yeah.
Tossed it literally right after we fixed Dewey's computer, or after we built it.
That was my little one. That was like that's what I trimmed it down to.
Heat sinks in there from at least 4 years ago.
One heat sink, and it's an Intel one that'll go onto my Intel board if I needed it.
And if I needed it, and this is where I would put my things.
But like the totes of stuff or whatever.
Okay, listen, the two totes that are down.
My DDR2 RAM, all that crap.
Oh, I don't have any of that stuff. My the oldest stuff I have is in that box, so I will probably either move that box and put that into a new thing.
No,
or
what
I
was saying is toss the case because it's you're never going to use it.
No, what I'm saying is I'm either going to toss the innards in that and put those innards in there, or I'm going to get a new case and put those innards in that, and then just take this whole thing and go, there you go, and hide away. And then eventually it will get filtered out because I can't stand the fact that I'm pretty sure I have a Windows 95 computer in my garage.
I know. See, that's what happens when you have that old computer, and you're like, I'll use it for something, and then like,
well, at least
10 years later, you're like, why do I still have this?
The joke is with this one that we're talking about and that one that we're also talking about. We're still going on about this for no reason. Those are both running DDR3s.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not like incompatible to run with each other.
Yeah.
This is running 8 gigs. That's running 16. But then I can still. The problem there is this is an AMD board and that's an Intel board. So that's where my real difference is.
Mm-hmm.
But when I step to the new one, the only thing that's going to be able to touch that new one is going to be my DDR4 and my new stuff. So
yeah,
it's not like if I reach DDR5 situation, then yes, I say then my 3 needs to go to the wayside and keep only two cross sections of things to, if for some reason X fails, I have backup that's still capable.
Yeah.
But that's all. Anyway, that was a really long podcast, Matt.
All
and
right.
we complained that there was nothing newsworthy in it.
Yeah, because we bullshitted the whole time.
Yeah, don't ask Nate what he's doing on a week where there hasn't
Wasn't
been
there
news.
a question that we have to answer, or are we skipping
There
that?
was a question, and I will ask it to you.
All right.
It comes from a Yankee great, Cincinnati Red great. He played for the New York Mets even. Joe Torre has asked.
I've heard that name, but
he was
that's
the
about
manager of the Yankees during the 90s and the early 2000s when they won a lot of championships.
That's probably why.
I think he's got 4 rings. Maybe 5. The question was, how about them Yankees?
Oh. Son of a bitch.
Ah, you son of a bitch.
Well, I can't answer that, so.
I can answer it. How about them Yankees? It's a good time. I appreciate everything they're doing. We'll see what happens at the trade deadline. 'Cause something's going to go down.
You think so?
Yep.
They got the budget for that? Do they have budget caps?
There's salary caps in baseball.
Salary caps, but is there budget caps?
That is your budget cap, is your salary cap. What do you mean?
Okay, so I get what you're saying.
Okay.
So when you say salary cap, I'm thinking that you can only pay, X amount to a player, but that wouldn't make sense.
No, it's your team has a salary cap.
Yeah.
And they're under it technically. If you go over, you have to pay a tax threshold and yada yada yada. But they're under right now.
It's the Yankees. Like, they can't afford a
Oh, they can if they wanted to, but like they're under it, which is I'm not going to get into too far of this. You incur increasing penalties the more years you're over it.
Yeah.
So essentially, it's
goes
like
up exponentially.
Eventually you need to reset and come back underneath. And they have reset themselves from their penalties from the years prior, so they're underneath with no penalty going forward into next year.
So like, I'll start racking up that penalty
with
again.
lower one penalty. So they're like, oh, I go over by a little bit. Well, who cares? Pay $7 million. That's like a game. I don't care.
All right.
And they still don't have the highest payroll in baseball. So that's called doing good business. That being said, we do poor business because we ran way too long. Have fun listening to that one. Later.